Feels like it's kind of a kinder, gentler, NCAA
Did you
and
see
everybody.
what Auburn did recently?
It just claimed a bunch of championships.
They went back, claimed 7 national championships, and one of them I sort of can understand. Auburn went undefeated, and what was that year? Tubbyville was
that's
there.
no better than UCF doing that, right?
Something like that.
UCF did the same thing. We went
thing.
undefeated. Well, we're going to claim one.
Yeah, just claim it. Yeah.
Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. All right, welcome in to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. The coach will be in here in a little bit to talk about all the stuff that's going on, including opening day, what opening days were like for him, and all that kind of fun stuff that we like to do in the 9-game conference schedule as well. We'll talk to him about that. Robbie Andrew will be in here for Yes, No Way, or Maybe. On Thursday, Brandon Marcello is going to join us. I can't wait to talk to him. Next Thursday, Patrick Young is going to join us. Of course, you guys all know what he's been through. We'll talk to him about it, but he's also got a golf tournament coming up. Wanted to give him a chance to talk about that. We'll talk to him about what it was like for him to see Florida win the basketball national championship. Florida is putting that out there this week, by the way. They're the Everything School, and they're showing highlights from every different thing. And you go, oh, yeah, that was a great moment. Oh, that was a great moment. And then they go to women's basketball. They go, here's somebody dribbling. There was no, like, classic moment in women's basketball. Maybe there will be one day. Interesting weekend for me, and this was the most interesting thing. Saturday, my wife says, Pat, come out here right now. I go, okay, I'll come out there. Come out there. There's this unbelievably beautiful big hawk, white feathers and everything, standing in our yard, and we're looking at it, and she's taking pictures, and she's a birder, and she's so excited that it's there. And then I go, I don't think he's just there. And sure enough, he reaches down, plucks the squirrel head, and starts cutting it in half with his beak, and it starts pulling the guts out, and she's freaking out. And I'm like, nature, I love it, man. This is what happens. So that's what Florida has to do in football this year. They have to go for the jugular. They have to eat squirrels, but not squirrel brains. That's what Hal Mummy used to do. All right, let's get to our Royal Blue starting 5, brought to you by our good friend Randy Royal over there at Royal Blue Yacht Sales. Go by and see him in Palatka if you are interested, or just give him a call. Very easy to reach. Does a great job. Let's get to number 1. It is game week. We are excited. Look, it's, you got to, there's things you have to do this week before. Don't wait till Friday to do them. You got to get your menu ready. You got to get your drinks ready. You got to know what you're going to drink. Not like you could say, oh, I'm just going to have a couple of beers. Now, if you're having a tailgate, you got to do better than that. You got to have, maybe you have a cocktail of the day that people, oh, look, I go back to Michelle Martin, who had the unbelievable strawberry margaritas, and they were just unbelievable. And you would just have it out of a thing. Anyway, that's the kind of great tailgate. I know Joe Calorio at Titan MRI and Imaging is going to have a great one again. He has it every year on the corner there of Lemarond and University, and does a great job with it. But all of you out there, I know you're ready to do it. You're ready to get excited, get good music, have a tent. You need a tent. It's going to be hot. Music, it's all about the volume. The volume should always be loud enough for people to hear, but not loud enough for anybody else to hear. That's my theory. If you do want to take it up to that level, you better get permission. But hey, look, I'm an old man. Hey, quit playing the music so loud. No, anyway, I know that a lot of you are feeling this right now, right? That's the kind of anticipation you have. And I know as we drive into that game Saturday night, there are going to be people, everywhere. And Gainesville it's party central, a Saturday night. That's what it's going to be. And I think the fact that most of these games are going to be all the games are either going to be 4:30 or 11 or 3:30, I guess, is going to be fun. My favorite thing about game week, believe it or not, is kind of stupid, and that is that moment when I'm driving out after doing the tailgate with Jeff Cardozo, driving out, and I see the big truck that has all the TV equipment, no matter what it is, whether it's ESPN, CBS. This game's on SEC Plus, so it'll be a SEC truck. And you kind of go, okay, it feels different to me. That is the moment it feels different. Now, it is going to feel different anyway because the students are back, and we've seen them all over already. But now I don't know if they start school yet, but they're coming back, and they'll be back for the game. The game's a sellout. I think that's impressive for Florida to do that. Again, it won't be full, but it'll be sold out, and that is 13 or 14 straight, whatever it is. We'll see how it all works out. All right. That is number one. Just the fact that it's game week and just feels different. The air smells different. Just everything about today feels different. I'm jacked up, man. I'm ready for it. Let's start with, let's get to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5, and that is, let me tell you what I know about Long Island University. It's a school. It has a phone number that does not work. I know that because I tried to call it. We're sorry. That's their main number, by the way. We did have a guy on our radio show Friday who covers them kind of, but he covers the whole conference, and he's like the only guy, and he's not coming to the game. I don't think anybody's going to be at the game, but there'll be some LIU fans there because a lot of kids from the state of Florida. In fact, a lot from the Tampa area. There's some from like Cocoa. In fact, Todd Bowles Jr. plays for them. I think he's a senior linebacker. Of course, his dad is a coach of the Bucks. Here's what you need to know about him. Ethan Greenwood is the only threat to not making this a blowout. He's a very talented quarterback. 921 passing yards, 912 rushing yards last year for them. Now, they went 4-8 last year. They've got, they don't throw the ball a lot. Corey Nichols, was their leading receiver last year. He was also, by the way, Ethan Greenwood was sacked 15 times. They have an Australian punter. That's about all I've been able to find. It is impossible, but it's okay. Because the bottom line is this game is not about Long Island. It's about Florida. And what does Florida look like? What does Florida do? How healthy does Florida stay? What does DJ look like? What does the defense look like? It should be able to dominate. Now, they may give up a play, here and there. You get this talented, fast, shifty guy who can run the ball. Maybe he breaks one off, Then you learn from that and don't let that happen again. You cover up that edge. These are the kind of things you learn from a game like this, but they should be fine. There's no doubt about it. There's no spread on the game. That tells you everything you need to know about it. But the game is about Florida, not about Long Island. How do the Gators play? How do they look? Does everybody stay healthy? Are they able to handle the first game of a long run of them being evaluated fairly high with some people? Now, some people have them high, some people have them low. I talked about this with somebody the other day. I said, I keep declaring talking season over, but it's not over. It's not going to be over, I think, until Friday night when Auburn plays Baylor. Then talking season's over. Right now, I feel like it's still talking season. Everybody's still talking about the Gators. Everybody's still talking about all these other games, So I guess talking season's gone longer than expected. I don't know. All right, that is a look at LIU. Let's go to number 2 on our Royal Blues starting 5, and that the games that were played this weekend. Iowa State with a big win over Kansas State. That game was really bad for a while. Rain. The worst thing about it was the fact that they had you couldn't read the down markers or the yard markers because the rain had wiped them out. And I'm like, you don't have paint that is resistant to that? Zach, have you ever watched a NFL or a college football game where it rained really hard and you could not see the yard markers?
No, that was definitely the first.
That was
snowed.
yeah, exactly. It was weird, and then so you never knew where the ball really was, and but anyway, Iowa State got the win. That was good for them. I did watch a little bit of Mullen's debut. They have no defense. Got a good offense. Have no defense. They beat the Idaho State Bengals. There you go, baby. Stanford loses to Hawaii. That was a game I picked the other way, and now I'm depressed that I'm off to a bad start. But I thought Stanford, I thought all that Frank Reich, Andrew Luck magic was going to kind of rub off, but they weren't very good. I know they lost on a walk-off, but still, they just weren't very good. And that was pretty much it for college football. There wasn't a whole lot going on. It was not a great week one schedule. Week 2 will be fantastic, and we'll talk about it next week on next Thursday. All right, let's get to number 4 on our Royal Blue starting 5, and that is volleyball getting the win at number 3, Pitt. Of course, they lost on Friday to, I think it was Stanford, in 4 sets. Pitt, though, they won that, and I was watching it, and they're down 2-1. You're like, and I tell you what, that's a big win for Ryan. Is it Tice? I think is the way he pronounces his name. The new coach at Florida. There was a great video of him after that. So big win. In fact, I wanted to show a video right now of Florida celebrating that big win because they had a good time with it. So this was the Gator team celebrating that win. Played in Lincoln, Nebraska too. They had a good time. Look, that was a huge win for this program because obviously you're dealing with a new coach and you lost your best player to the transfer portal for $1 million to Penn State, and to get that win was huge for them. All right, so that is our number 4. Number 5 on our Royal Blue starting 5, we bring you the Steve and Christine Wendig present the Olympic Gator of the Weekend. And, of course, it's brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig from Boss Hart Realty. They do a great job over there. We appreciate them for being sponsors here. And I'll see Steve, I think, hopefully tomorrow night at the Quarterback Club. But our Olympic athletes of the week, Gators of the weekend, are 2 volleyball players. Alexis Stuckey, 44 assists and 11 digs. I don't know, but I think those are good numbers. I mean, that was a fun match to watch, and she was awesome. And Jordan Bird, 23 kills, and she was the Volleyball Association player of the game. So, but I thought Alexis Stuckey was, to me, the player of the game. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Florida with a big win, and we want to make sure we always bring that to your attention with our Christine and Steve Wendig, Boss Art Realty, Olympic Sport Gator of the Weekend. All right, that's going to do it for our first segment. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the HBC. We'll talk about a lot of stuff, and then Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe, all that and more coming up here on another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Coach, you know what always impressed me, how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Linderos.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
At Royal Blue, we believe our resumes as yacht brokers consist of not only the type of boats we list, but also the condition of those boats as well. If you see a boat listed as a sale with Royal Blue Yacht Sales, you can have faith that it will be very well kept and in extremely good condition. Passionate about delivering exceptional boating experiences in Florida, Royal Blue excels in tailoring boat buying for selling solutions to fit your needs. With 15 years in prior boat sales experience and over 65 million in sales, Royal Blue is devoted to making your boat ownership a dream reality. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law, also a sponsor of Meldon Mondays with Coach Spurrier. We always love Coach Spurrier being in here, and it's going to be an exciting weekend. There's just a lot going on right now. The community, the whole community seems to change on a game week. People are rushing in ice and, talk to a bunch of people who say we got to stock up for it. It's all different when you get to a game week.
Yeah, we've got the opener is not a big time team, of course.
It's not.
Long Island University. In fact, our local paper only picked us to score 49. I think we're going to score 50 or more against Long Island. But anyway, and then we got South Florida, and then the real schedule starts. But again, our local Brockway, our local guy here, picked us to go 9-3, and I like that number.
I think that's the number that I
like that number. I think we got an excellent chance to go 9-3. Now he picked us losing 3 SEC games, Georgia, and then at Ole Miss and at LSU. I think
so. He's got him beating Miami because he's a Miami grad.
I
That's
guess
surprising.
Everything else, we got to win. I sort of think we might lose maybe one at Miami or Texas A&M, but beat Georgia. We're due to beat Georgia. Simple as that.
Well, I've said this all along. I think there's 6 games. I know you got to win, and then if you can split the other 6, then you're 9-3, and you're probably in the playoff, most likely in the playoff, unless there's just
with the toughest schedule.
As tough as their schedule is, but it's just going to be fun just to see this team get on the field, and we can see exactly what they're doing. We can watch DJ Lagway and see what his, how much they restrict him. I'm sure he's not going to run around a lot.
It is interesting that's the national media and the media guys make the 12-team playoff. We used to talk about winning the conference championship.
Right.
Remember when that was important?
I don't think it matters. They're talking about
Ole Miss.
They're talking about getting rid of it, the conference championship game.
Well, I think they're talking about what we used to do. Everybody plays whoever has the best record, and you might have co-champs. It's to save a game there. But that's what we used to do. Whoever had the best record in conference games is the champ. So even though we had it one year, but they said because you couldn't go to the Sugar Bowl, you can't be called the champion. But I can assure you, I still call that 1990 team the SEC champion.
There is a movement of trying to get things changed, and one of them is Vernon Maxwell getting his records reinstated, but another one is recognizing that team, recognizing the 84 team, not just with that also we're best, just saying, hey, these are the best teams. The 80 team, the 90 team, as you know, Steve, nobody did anything wrong there. So now the NCAA is coming out and saying, hey, we aren't going to punish this anymore. And now everybody's saying, well, why didn't you not punish it then? So
yeah, Michigan with their problems of sign stealing, the NCAA guy said it wasn't fair to ban Michigan from postseason play because these guys weren't responsible for what happened 2 years ago or something like that. So obviously the 90 team
but that
was
happened
not responsible
to your guys,
for,
yeah.
Well, nothing even happened that was wrong. They said,
what if we brought those
you can't
guys
go to a bowl game if we don't qualify? We got no penalty.
Yeah.
No penalty at all.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we were
If
really
you were
terrible.
bad,
We didn't get a.
the better
yeah.
you are, the more you're going to have to pay the price.
If I had known that the SEC had a deal with the Sugar Bowl, I would have told the infraction committee, take 5 or 10 scholarships. I don't care.
Yeah.
We got a team that can win it,
Yeah.
and we're going to try to win it this year.
Yep.
And they did. So anyway, that's another story. It has to come out of the SEC, our presidents and athletic directors and the people that run the university. The SEC has to make the change. But I don't know how interested they are in doing it.
It feels like it's
anyway.
kind of a kinder, gentler, NCAA
Did
and
you see
everybody.
what Auburn did recently?
It just claimed a bunch of championships.
They went back, claimed 7 national championships, and one of them, I sort of can understand. Auburn went undefeated, and what was that year?
But
Tuberville was
that's
there.
no better than
2003
UCF
or
doing that,
4,
right?
Something like that.
UCF did the same
UCF
thing.
did
We
the
went
same thing.
undefeated. Well, we're going to claim one.
Yeah, just claim it. Yeah.
Or there was one year that I think they said that it was the beginning of the forward pass. Was one year they won it. So
they went way back, but they were undefeated, and I really think the voters.
well, that one year they weren't undefeated, and they still they're claiming that one. So,
yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah,
It might have been Life Magazine gave it to them. But yeah, it's interesting. All right, so what was I know opening games for you were a big deal, and of course the first one was a big deal, and of course the other stuff that was going around Gainesville at the time, and you had to kind of be able to compartmentalize all that, with the student murders and everything. So you had to deal with that, but you were able to do that and just destroyed Oklahoma State, your very first opener.
Yeah, we didn't let that affect us one way or the other. But we had a real good team ready to go, and Oklahoma State, after the game was over, their coach said, "Steve, you got a heck of a team." And I said, "I know it," although nobody knew it until today. But now that it's 50-7, people will start figuring it out.
Pat Jones is the guy, right?
But the win at Alabama the next week is
Yeah.
what really propelled us to be able to win the SEC.
You didn't have a lot of fun openers. They were just usually against the directional schools, at Southwest Louisiana. You got mad for them booing Robbie Stevenson that one year.
The
Yeah.
punter?
Yep.
Yeah, he kicked one about 15 yards or 10 or 15. No, it wasn't Robbie. I think it's another guy, a walk-on kid. But, they were booing him. I said, come on now. We don't need to boo our walk-on punter. So, anyway, they didn't boo after that, though, by the way.
No, they didn't. You put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Although they did boo Billy Napier a couple of times last year. But,
Yeah, they booed last year.
Yeah, but hey,
the
look.
season. Yeah.
We're going to see what happens, and I can't wait for it. I mean, there's so many great games, as you know,
Yeah.
Steve. You're like me. You're a football junkie, and you can't wait for them, especially that noon Texas and Ohio State game. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones this week. I got to give credit to the schedule makers for putting, obviously Texas, Ohio State, but LSU, Clemson, I think is a real big one also. So it'll be interesting. The home crowds will really be into it. That's for sure.
You're going to need a TV because you're going to be at the Florida game, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get a little TV.
Well, I
at the
sit
same
up in the
time.
athletic director's box,
there you
so
go.
we can get a couple of games on his TV up there, and all the people with their private suites up there, they get to watch, another game or so also.
There's even games like Auburn Baylor plays Friday night. That'll be interesting to watch.
Auburn Baylor.
USF, we get to scout them out. They play Thursday night, and then Sunday night you have Notre Dame and Miami. Bill Belichick's first game is on Monday night. It's just
Monday night.
It hopes to be a great weekend. You never know. I remember there was a weekend like this about 6 or 7 years ago. I can't remember who was playing, but everybody was like, "This is going to be the greatest weekend in the history of." And then every game was a blowout, and it was boring. You never know, but that's why it's none of it's scripted. You know, you have to. You have to see what happens, and whatever happens.
I'm looking forward to watching Georgia Tech and Colorado.
Yeah, that's another.
Now, a lot of people are picking Colorado. I guess they had a pretty good recruiting class, but they lost some top players now.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter and Prime's son, Shadir Sanders.
Shadur and Shiloh,
they've
too.
lost a lot of good players, so it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. It will be fun to watch. I did want to talk a little bit about the golf this weekend. We finally got to see Tommy Fleetwood win, and maybe some people are saying, hey, look, the guy's won over $30 million on different tours. Why is everybody feeling sorry for him? Well, it still mattered to me, and it still mattered to a lot of people to see him win.
That's right. Golf is a sport that you can have a favorite even though he's from another country.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's English. And I think most people were pulling for him. It's tough to just keep losing and losing. Rory McIlroy's from Ireland, and everybody was pulling for him to win the Masters. So it's okay to pull for a guy from another country in golf. It's an individual sport. It's not team sport until they get to the Ryder Cup. And, and those
that's
events.
the problem. Is that I think Fleetwood's playing probably as good as anybody. And it worries me about the Ryder Cup now. He's going to keep that momentum going. Of course, there's nothing going on between now and the Ryder Cup, which is late September. But that's going to be interesting. Bethpage Black, of course, which is a really tough course up in New York. It's a crowd's going to be a little tough, screaming and yelling. You're pretty good about keeping those headphones on about the screaming and yelling. You didn't hear it during the games, did you?
No, not bad at all. And I like the double head things. A lot of coaches have the single,
Right.
So I guess they can tune it out somehow. But I didn't hear much crowd noise, and I could talk to the coach up top. Steve Jr. was usually the guy up there that I talked to most all the time.
Yeah, or Carl. Carl was on the field a lot of times.
Yeah, he was on the field most of the time. Running back coach.
Well, Jimmy Ray was here a couple of weeks ago. Where was Jimmy Ray? He was on the field.
He's on the sideline.
Yeah.
Almost all the others.
How did you decide to delegate that? Because that has to be a tough decision. How do you do that? And sometimes we've seen coaches change it up.
Delegate what?
Delegate who's on the field and who's in the box.
Well, it was the same every game.
Yeah, it wasn't hard for you.
No, the receiver coach is usually the guy that goes up there because that's all he does is watch
the routes.
Yeah. And so, he'd make suggestions. Hey, they play this. I remember we were at Missouri in overtime. We had a 4th and 15. And Steve said, Pop, the last time we had a 4th down, they played 2-man. You might want to try the fork play. We hit it for about 25-yard touchdown to stay in overtime, and then we won it the next overtime.
Wow.
So, those guys up top, what are you going to call on 4th and 15? Well, they played that coverage the last time. Maybe they'll be dumb enough to do it again. And they did. Played the same dang coverage.
Kind of like Kentucky did. With the Dorian's got a touchdown game. They played the same defense, right?
Yeah, that was their long yardage prevent defense. Yep.
What about, I don't know if you saw that Hugh Freeze is going to have somebody call plays on first down, somebody on second, somebody on third.
Yeah, I read that. I'm wondering how long that's going to last. 1, 2, 3. And then somebody said, well, who's calling the 4th down plays? Flip a coin? Flip a coin. I said, I'll call this one.
Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin did ask who will be the 4th down play caller. But
Kiffin is funny. I will say that, yeah.
Yeah, Alabama's got their coordinator back from Washington.
Yep, Ryan Grubb.
Yep. So they're picked to do very well this year. And
it's going to be interesting.
It could be very good.
I think the SEC is kind of wide open this year. I think could Alabama win it? Yeah. Could Georgia win it? Yeah. Could LSU win it? Yeah. Could Texas A&M win it? I think they could.
Texas A&M?
Certainly Texas could win it. I think Florida could win it. I'm not expecting them to, but they could. I mean, there's like 7 teams that are, I would think, in contention.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams capable, but most all these teams have a history of not winning it.
That's right.
Kirby Smart's the only coach in the SEC that has won an SEC championship. Yeah. He's the only one. Texas certainly had an opportunity last year, but did not do it. So it'll be interesting to see who wins it this year. It really will be.
Yeah, it will be. And I know you're looking forward to watching games, just sitting back and you got a good setup there with the TVs at the house, or,
Well, I watched with Scott Strickland, athletic director box here. Yeah, back home I got a couple TVs,
Yeah, that's cool.
You got 2, don't you? 2 working?
I got 4.
Oh, you got 4?
Well, I count my laptop. If a laptop, I can fire. If I'm really excited about games, I'll fire up the laptop, which I did last week. But I've got 3. The third one is kind of iffy, but it still works.
Yeah.
That I learned that was from my dad. My dad had and I believe this was the first ever sports room. I'm talking about back in the 60s, and he would have a room that was devoted to watching sports. I would give him all kinds of stuff, baseballs and everything, and he would have like 4 TVs out there, so he could watch every game. Now, as more games came on, it became a lot more fun. Sometimes you'd be watching soccer and stuff, but I think he invented the sports room. In fact, I've got sources that'll tell you that's true.
I think they're a network. They're going to have where you can watch 4 games.
Yes.
And that's coming up.
Yep.
Is that NFL or is that college also?
I think it's college, yeah.
Okay.
Somebody actually tweeted me something about that. So maybe we'll be able to do that.
4 games.
What we need to do right now is have the Campus USA play of the weekend. And because there were a lot of things I could have chose, but this was a play that made me the happiest because I love Van Jefferson. And there he goes, a little move, and then right down the sideline, good speed, former Gator, wide receiver.
Fan, huh?
Yep, he was really good at Florida. In fact, one of my favorite stories ever is after the Orange Bowl, he scored a big touchdown in that game, and he when I went to, you could go in the locker rooms then. So I walked into the locker room. You like that move?
I like that move by the DB guy. He just fell down. Turf monster tripped him up. Yeah. Watch him here.
Anyway, he was watching the play he had just run for a touchdown, and I said, and I was just standing there. He goes, "Oh, you want to talk? Yeah, great. I was just watching the play." So, pretty cool guy. All right, Coach, you got anything else for us? Oh, I wanted to mention big win for volleyball.
Yeah, it was a good win.
On Sunday, I watched that on ESPN, and soccer's off to a 2-1 start. So we're about to get all the sports cranked up here. The students are coming back to campus. It's an exciting time, right?
Yeah. This Saturday starts it off. I know it's a sellout. I don't know if it's going to be packed because of the opponent. But anyway, it'll be the crowd will be ready.
I think people are going to come back because they just want to be back. They want to be back with their friends. They want to see people they don't see but once or 6 times a year, 7 times a year. I did want to, before I let you go, Coach, the 9-game schedule. I mean, at one time you played a 6-game schedule, right, as a player?
SEC games, right.
Yeah. Now they're going to the 9-game schedule, which was not a big surprise once they said the metrics for the scheduling is going to be tougher. What's your thoughts about if you had to face a 9-game schedule in the SEC?
Well, everybody has a 9-game schedule, so it's not unfair.
Right.
Big Ten, 9 games also.
Now the ACC is going to 9 too.
Yes, so everybody's going to start going to it, which means, like you say, a 9-3 can get you in the playoffs. Yep. Back in our day, back in our day in '96, we went to the. I don't know if FSU was number 1 or not, but we lost at their place, 24-21, 3 points at their place. We went from number 1 to number 6. We lost the number 1 team or number 2 team. I don't know who was 1. We were 1 and 2 in the nation at their place by 3, and we were out of it. And then all of a sudden, the other team started losing.
Yeah.
Ohio State lost 1.
They
beat Arizona State, and Texas upset Nebraska. I mean. And then all of a sudden we snuck back down to number 2 and beat FSU. So somebody said, well, why in the world y'all play FSU? Because that's our schedule, that's why. But if you take out those opponents like that and just play your conference teams, at least you'll have a pretty honest opinion on who the conference champ would be.
Yeah, anyway. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Coach,
Yeah.
we'll let you go. All right, we'll be back with Robbie Andrew and more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Fight Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Always love when we have Robbie Andrew on here for Yes, No, Where. Maybe he comes to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteaks Zoom line. Robert A. Andrew, did you enjoy your football this weekend?
Yeah, I did, Pat. But, I really enjoyed the golf.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
I don't think I've been that nervous watching a final round of golf maybe ever, because I was pulling so hard for Fleetwood, to get over that hump and get his first win in the U.S. It was so much fun watching that.
It was good. It was, it was very emotional for him, and I enjoyed it too. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't like he was going to go broke if he didn't win a tournament.
No.
But he certainly was good. That was fun, and then the football was kind of fun. I told you, I think I'm the only person in Gainesville that somehow found a way to watch Dan Mullen's debut. I don't know. It was an accident. I somehow ended up on the channel.
How classic Mullen was that, though? Just terrible defense. Could have lost the team to that team they're 30-point favorite against.
Yeah, well,
very Mullen.
Idaho State Bengals.
Idaho, no Idaho.
That's what I said when I told Karen. I go, Karen, Dan Mullen's playing. And she goes, who's he coaching? I said, UNLV. And she goes, well, who they're playing? I go, Idaho State. She goes, Idaho?
No.
All right, it is time for us to play Yes, No, Where, maybe with Robbie Andrew. And it is brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. Street dining done the right way. The great place to go to get a great sandwich, a great salad. They have great salads there as well. All kinds of good stuff at Big Mills Cheesesteak. And you get free fries with your order if you mention that you listened to or watched another duly noted podcast. All right, Robbie, number one. The star of opening night for Florida will be a defensive player.
I'll have to go with a maybe on that, Pat. I mean, you got to figure they're going to put up a bunch of big offensive numbers. So, it could be a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver. But then, defense, they're going to be getting after that team and probably make a lot of negative plays. So I'll say maybe it's a 50-50 deal on that. But I was thinking earlier, a guy that could maybe be one of the stars is like Graham, Miles Graham, the linebacker who's at a big camp apparently, and he looks like he's ready to go. So, he could have a 15-tackle game. Who knows?
Or it could be, Childs, who's had a great camp. I almost said Antoine Childs. Remember that guy, the quarterback?
Yeah, quarterback, yeah. Bad knee.
He was never anything.
But here's Monty McLean could have a pick six or something. Yeah. So who knows?
He could. You never know. I'm just excited we can talk about actual football games. All right, number two on Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. You are rooting for Texas, an SEC team, to beat Ohio State at Ohio State. Ohio State, of course, a Big Ten team. You are rooting for Texas.
Yeah, yes, Pat. I'm definitely going to root for Texas, and I've never been a big fan of Ohio State. And then after watching that documentary about the wrestling scandal there,
oh yeah,
now I really hate Ohio State. So yeah,
I hadn't thought about that. I was trying to decide. I got to be honest with you. I've been sitting here going, well, I liked them when Urban was there, and then I don't like a lot of things about him. I don't like Ryan Day, but Texas is in the conference, and then it would be better if Texas won, so when they come to games, it'll be a bigger game. And then I hadn't even thought about the Ohio State.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, that pushes over the edge for me. Pat.
Yeah, so, I got you. I got you.
I'm pulling for Texas, but I'm also rooting for Manning to not have a great game. So, you know what I'm saying?
No, wait a minute.
If he has a great game in that environment, it's going to be trouble for everybody in the SEC.
Have you not? Tell me if these two things are not true, okay? Number one, you loved the Book of Manning, the documentary that they did on the SEC.
No, that was awesome, yes.
Okay. Two, you and I met Archie Manning while we were sitting on recliners in New Orleans at his bar, and you loved him there, right?
Oh, we had a great time with
him. So why are you rooting against Archie Manning? Arch Manning.
No, Arch Manning. I don't want Arch Manning to look that great because that's going to be hard to beat for Florida or anybody else to beat him. Texas win, Arch Manning look human. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, if you could figure that out, I don't know how okay. I don't think they can win if he does look human, to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably not.
And all right, let's get to number 3 finally on Yes, Nowhere, Maybe, brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteak with Robbie Andrew. You would like to see some pre-game fisticuffs in the Notre Dame-Miami game Sunday.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I'll go with a yes on that. So, get back to the Catholics and convicts rivalry, which was back in the 80s or whatever, 90s. So, there's not a lot of bad blood between those two right now, but, maybe it'll get started up again before that game. Little mouthing off, shoving, get after it.
It's when college football was unbelievable during that time. Everybody hated everybody. I mean, it wouldn't like now everybody hates everybody, but it's the fans who all hate each other. Back then it was the players. Now the players go, I don't like you, but I may transfer there next year.
Yeah, if I can play there, I may join you. So,
right.
Yeah, it's not like it was on the field with the bitterness and the hate.
No, not even close.
Let's bring it back a little bit. Bring it back.
All right, here we go. Sunday night. Be there. Aloha. All right, Robbie, thanks.
Cool. Okay, Pat, I'll see you.
All right, see you, buddy. All right, always love when Robbie's on. Let's get to our Adams Rib Co. Gator of the Weekend, brought to you by Adams Rib Company, the best place to go for ribs. There's no doubt about it. Great barbecue, great food, great Nana's fish nuggets on Fridays. It's the best place to go. Best barbecue sauce, too. They have great barbecue sauce there. All right, let's get to our Adams Gator of the Week. And that would be Brady Singer. Brady Singer, who just keeps getting it done for the Reds. In 6 innings, he pitched on I think that was on Sunday, yesterday, and only allowed 1 hit, 9 strikeouts. Man, he's killing it, and I'm proud of him, man. He was one of my favorite pitchers when he was here. I know he's probably Jeff Cardozo's favorite pitcher. He loves him. And he is our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend. Let's get to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. I did send that $25 at Leonardo's out. I did send it out. It was 4 days late, but I did send it out. It should get there soon. But let's get to our quick pick to see if we can get some more qualifiers, and we'll try to make a pick, late September, somewhere in there. Maybe, like middle of September, yeah. We'll make a pick, a poll on that. So here's your Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. This is a Thursday night game. Boise State. Boise with the Flavin and the nice lady. Boise State is giving 6 at USF. Now, I think that's a tricky game. I've heard a lot of good things about USF this camp. I don't know if it's true or not. You have to wait and see. But boy, that gives you a reason to watch the game. Boise -6 against USF. All right. Let us move along to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend. BMI TeleMed, the place to go for all your weight loss needs. They do a great job of getting you the right tools and the talent. You got the talent. Achieve and maintain with BMI TeleMed. 727-383-1677 is the place to go. It's helped me, and it can help you. And we've had a lot of people take advantage. You get 10% off your order if you get involved with them. All right. Let us go to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the week. And I made it Jazz Chisholm. You know why? Jazz Chisholm found out the night before they were playing the Red Sox last night that his best friend had been killed. No information was given, but it was hard for him. Hit 2 homers, including his 100th homer of the year, and tears in his eyes, Cinderella story, running around the bases. I feel that, man, when you're playing out of grief, that is overachieving to play that well out of grief, because I've been there with my dad or my mom or other people that have died in my life, and I couldn't get them out of my mind. That is incredible focus, and so that is why he is our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the week. And I keep forgetting to say end, even though I got it written down here. All right, let us get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. And 3 things is always brought to you by Hesser and Kipke, attorneys at law, 352-339-9920 or www.hklawfl.com. Ken did make a great point that we were talking about how the SEC was going to go to 9 games now that this thing was in, and he was listening to it like a day later, but he realized it came out. We said that, and then like later in the day, that happened. So we scooped everybody. We're taking credit for it. All right, 3 things with Hesser and Kipke. All your family law and workers' compensation needs is the place to go for. I forgot to mention that. So Hesser and Kipke. All right, number 1, Cal Raleigh now has 49 homers. It's a new record for catchers of all time. Nobody's hit that many. We all kind of knew this record was going to come. He's a Knoll, but he's really good. I got to give him credit. He's really good. 49 homers. I think they said this is the third year in the history of baseball, or maybe it's this decade or this century, that 3 guys are at 49 homers. So good. Good for you. We know who's number 1. So he's got the new record for catchers. I would think if I was him, I'd try to go make it so nobody's going to get it again. He's really pretty impressive. All right, let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, which is a lot of cuts are going to come, a lot of cuts are going to go. We'll talk about them, I'm sure, a lot more next, or actually during the Thursday show, because a lot of these are going to come down during the week. But the one that was kind of in your face was Shiloh Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, who I didn't think was going to make the roster anyway, but then he got into a fight, took a swing at a guy. People are trying to say, he was just protecting himself, the guy was blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're a marginal player, you don't do those kind of things. He got called for a penalty, and he was cut right after that. So that was the end of him. Again, I look forward to watching Shedeur Sanders in the NFL for a long time, but Shiloh wasn't going to play in the NFL anyway. So that's fine. All right, finally, number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. The family of the Kentucky State quarterback, Avery Johnson, has apologized. What did they apologize for? Do you know what they apologized for? Getting in a brawl. The father and this other son in a brawl at the game in Dublin. Now, I don't think Guinness was involved in this at all. I'm sure it wasn't. But these guys, and there's video of it where they get in this massive brawl at the game. Sometimes I think about my dad never got to see any of my games. He saw a couple of them, but he hardly ever got to see them because he was always working and everything in sports. I don't think he would have acted like that. But anyway, that was pretty interesting. Farmageddon, baby. Farmageddon. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's get to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week, brought to you by our good friends at Gallo Car Wash, where they get your car cleaned the right way, and they get it done every time. I am giving the Sponge of the Weekend to, I almost said Mick Fleetwood, but it's Tommy Fleetwood. Mick Fleetwood was a drummer, but Tommy Fleetwood, because how much did he sponge up winning that tournament? Just a mere $10 million. It's almost like he was like, I'm going to come close in all these other tournaments, but then when we get to the one where I can make $10 million, I'm going to go ahead and win it. Hey, he sucked it up, and it was unbelievably good. Interesting stuff. But Tommy Fleetwood is our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend. Let's move along to our Los Landeros Smooth Move of the Weekend. Brought to you by Los Landeros Tequila. Go beyond Urban Meyer's favorite tequila and my favorite tequila as well. Our Los Landeros Smooth Move of the Weekend, and he might have had some Los Landeros before he did this, but Micah Parsons laying down during the game on the trainer's table, I said his back was hurting. I don't know, but why are you there at the game? I guess you have to go and say that you can't find him if he's there at the game. But laying down, that's smooth, man. You are either going to make them pay you or you are going to get paid by somebody else. And you just put this on the board and you're saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do all year otherwise. So I consider it a smooth move. I mean, it was not premeditated. No, so it was premeditated. You can't use double negatives. All right, that was our Los Landeros Smooth Move of the Weekend. Let us get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club segment where we talk about who is speaking. Certainly can't wait for Katie Turner tomorrow night. That'll be a lot of fun. Come on by and you can get in. And not only that, but there's a Paul Davis restoration happy hour that'll be going on before it. You come in there and get a free drink ticket that they have, and also some appetizers. Paul Davis Restoration is hosting it, and it'll be a good time. Alex Brown, scheduled to be the speaker next Tuesday. Can't wait for him. Can't wait to see him. And we've talked about it before, but just a ton of great speakers. You need to get involved with the Gainesville Quarterback Club, the oldest Gator club in the whole world and Canada. So be a part of it. It is a great fellowship, great speakers, great food, great drinks, great introductions by me. And now, here he is. I should just go, here's Alex. Anyway, I have a good time with it. All right, that is our Gainesville Quarterback Club segment. Let's get to our Mark Gaida presents the 12 Mark Gaida from Pepin Realty. We appreciate him for being a sponsor too. And, okay, this is my 12 going into the season. Well, I don't want to say going into the season because, to me, there was a game last week. And that maybe allowed Iowa State to move up into it. But I'm just going to – here's what it is as we get ready to start, and a lot is going to change. One, Clemson. I don't think there's a lot of people picking Clemson to win it all, but I am. Penn State 2, Ohio State 3, Texas 4, Alabama 5, Oregon 6, Georgia 7, Arizona State 8. I moved them back in. Watched an interview, and it changed my mind. This is what happens this time of year. It's talking season. 9, Illinois in the system. 10, Miami. 11, Iowa State. Those move up into the top 12. That was a big win for them. And it may be the biggest game they have all year. And then Boise State back at 12. I had to pull UNLV out of there. I was going to put UNLV in there, but come on, man. That defense, you gave up 31 points to the Idaho State Bengals. Idaho? No. All right. That is our Mark Gaida Pepin Realty present the 12. Let's move along to MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is the place to go for all your gaming needs. And, man, it is a great deal they've got. and it's unbelievable because I've already looked into it and I'm ready to pull I'm just trying to figure out which game I'm going to do. But you bet whatever you want to bet up to $500, and if you lose, you don't lose. It's just it just stays there, and then you can bet it again. If you win, you get to collect your winnings. This is an opening week, and you've got to use the promo code Dooley. Cord? Did I say cord or code? Promo code Dooley. Dooley. That's the name. That's what you used to chant at the games at St. Augustine High. By the way, I didn't mention Patrick Dooley 54 at gvillesun.com. No, it's not gvillesun. Patrick Dooley 54 at gmail.com is where you send your picks for the Leonardo's picks. I got too much stuff going on here sometimes. But anyway, the game I'm doing, because again, you go on MyBookie and you can do casino bets, you can do spin bets, you can do NFL bets, you can do college football bets. And like I said, you get in anywhere between $100 and $500 will be covered if you lose the bet on your first bet. So it's a good deal to get in on. And again, use the promo code Dooley. I am betting Nebraska -6.5 against Cincinnati. That game's at Arrowhead Stadium. I think Nebraska is going to be good this year. I got a feeling. I think Dylan Raiola, they're a team that could sneak into my top 12 before it's over. So that's my bet. And if you want to go to mybookie.ag and bet, it's the place to go, man. I mean, it has got so much good stuff there, so many opportunities to put it down some fun bets, and you could bet on who's going to win the national title. Put Florida down. It's a great spread. All right, that is. And by the way, all of my picks in the back nine on WRUF.com are brought to you by mybookie.ag too. I use them for the official pick line, and I use them for the Boise -6 against USF. Have I plugged that enough? Okay, let's move along. All right, let's get to our Swamp games of the weekend. Don't forget, this is a game week, so we will be out and about on the tailgate this week. We'll be at Hawkstone on Tuesday. We'll be at the Swamp Restaurant on Thursday and have a great time there. We'll be at the Hilton on Friday and have a great time there. That's where the Gators stay. Also on Thursday, you want to listen to the tailgate. We're going to have Chris Doring and Billy Donovan on that show. On Tuesday's show, we're going to have Eric Rett, so that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And Carlos Alvarez on Wednesday. We're piling it up. We're bringing it to you here and there. There's only two things I got going, so I got to keep them going really good. All right, here's your Swamp games of the weekend. People will be all over the Swamp Restaurant this weekend, as we know. Tuesday, baseball, Philadelphia at the Mets on TBS at 7:10. Wednesday, Pittsburgh at St. Louis, 7:45 on FS1. Tuesday, you also have a volleyball scrimmage. I guess it's an exhibition game. They're playing PVK Olymp Prawn. I don't know what the H that is, but it's funny because when you hit the thing on the FloridaGators.com, it comes up with all this language that I don't know. I think it's Greek. I'm not even sure. It's weird. Anyway, they're playing a volleyball match Tuesday. It doesn't count, but it's still, go watch them play. They're playing really well. And Thursday, soccer plays UCF. That game is at 7 o'clock on the SEC Plus if you want to watch it. Gators off to a 2-1 start this year. And then football Thursday. Boise is at USF. That's a 5:30 ESPN game. How good is that? That's the way I want to get my weekend started, with a 5:30 ESPN game. And you can scout USF, right? And you got a bet going on it. Also, Nebraska-Cincinnati, that game I talked about, is on ESPN at 9 o'clock on Thursday night. So we'll give you all the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday games. Oh, there's so many games going on. It's great that it's football season. It's great to be a college football fan. That's me.
The PVK Olymp Praha, they're a professional Czech Republic volleyball.
Oh, it's Czechoslovakia. Now I'm going to start learning the Czechoslovakian language. It's just a lot of things that don't look like letters to me. But so they're Czechoslovakia. So that'll be good. I mean, it's a good test for them, and I know a lot of people will want to go out there and support women's volleyball. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Zach, again, with a great job, as he always does. We appreciate him. We'll be back on Thursday with Brandon Marcello. We look forward to talking to him. As I mentioned, Patrick Young next Thursday. Got a lot of other good guests coming up going forward. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to get Scott Rabelais or get somebody else on, because you never know. Sometimes I want to diverse during LSU, but this is stuff you don't care about. Nice lady. Forget about it. All right, let's get out of here. This has been another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I am Pat Dooley, and I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.